You have likely noticed your natural gas and electric bills are quite a bit higher. A significant percentage of that increase is the result of a 7-day period in February 2 years ago that we will spend the next 28 years paying for.
In a joint investigation with Oklahoma Watch, News 9's Dana Hurtnacki looks into what happened.
There will be a lot of discussions. Develop more stringent reserve requirements so that we can ensure to continue to be able to keep the lights on in the future.
In February 2021, Winter Storm Uri gripped Oklahoma in its icy grasp. Temperatures plummeted, snow moved in, and utilities warned and sometimes carried out rolling blackouts.
Started just before 7 o'clock this morning when those rolling blackouts began.
So that's 3.5% of the bill.
Oklahomans not realizing once the ice thawed, they would be on the hook for an additional $2,000, $3,000, or even $4,000 per household, spread out over the next nearly 3 decades.
I don't know about anybody else, but the only thing that I've ever financed for 30 years has been my house.
Those like Ellen Graham and her husband, who are also small business owners. For their home, their last electric bill shows an extra $4.35 for the winter storm and $10.04 for gas.
That's a new high for us.
In addition, their business has another $14.33 for electric and $50 for gas.
I can do that, but what about the people that can't?
Reports show Oklahomans are paying more for the storm than anywhere else in the country. Utilities say it all goes back to the price of natural gas during the height of the storm, where prices that are usually around $1.90 soared to $1,200.
Oklahoma, for whatever reason, was paying the highest prices in the whole region, and everyone was affected by the same storm. So at some points, it got up to 600 times the normal level of what we were buying gas for before the storm hit.
Paul Monies with Oklahoma Watch has been reporting on winter storm costs since 2021 and Oklahoma utilities for over a decade. Together, we spent months sorting through hundreds of pages of regulatory filings and public information requests.
There's other states that have done some stuff on their own cases that come from the storm. And in fact, Minnesota, their Attorney General recommended them taking off about $60 million in their storm costs because they didn't think the utilities acted wisely during that storm. And so that was only 10% of what they asked for in Minnesota, but it shows that there are other ways to get into this, and other states have done some more work that maybe we didn't get to in Oklahoma.
We reached out to Oklahoma Natural Gas, but no one from the company would agree to an interview, nor would they answer any of our questions.
We were very concerned for our customers.
But an executive from OG&E did agree to sit down with us.
So our primary responsibility was to maintain the electric supply to our customers, and I think we did that well. We just had to pay for the gas at the levels that were available in the marketplace.
But Oklahoma was so much higher than anywhere else in the country.
Well, we have a lot of natural gas here, and we have a lot of natural gas infrastructure. And so we have a lot of development, exploration for natural gas. And when all of that production froze up, the price here probably went up more than it did in other places.
And I'm telling you, the barn door opens up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It is cold, and it just gets colder. Low temperatures in the teens, talking about 4 to 5 days below freezing. All day, all night, all day, all night.
Yet despite forecasts for the brutal storm well over a week in advance and warnings of a natural gas spike, OG&E officials testified in Corporation Commission filings they didn't stock up on natural gas. When the storm hit, planned maintenance outages at plants went on as scheduled. Wind turbines iced up. Coal and equipment at coal plants froze, all leading OG&E to rely more on natural gas to generate power.
Were you buying on the daily spot price index during the storm?
Yes. And that was part of the reason why we saw such an increase in our costs.
They had the expertise in gas procurement, and there were missteps. And when you and I make mistakes, we have to pay for them. And they didn't. The customer's on the hook for all of it.
The legislature quickly passed securitization, ultimately pushing the entire $2.7 billion debt, plus an additional $2 billion in interest and fees onto ratepayers.
These so-called ratepayer-backed bonds, sometimes called securitization, are the worst fleecing of Oklahoma ratepayers in the history of Oklahoma.
Commissioner Bob Anthony was the sole no vote at the Corporation Commission, who ultimately had to approve the deals. He argued through deceit and conflict of interest, the process imposed hundreds of millions of dollars in unnecessary costs.
Ratepayers deserve to know how much they're being asked to pay and who's getting the money. They deserve to know the names of the brokerage companies, of the law firms, of the financial advisors, of the consultants, and anybody that was getting money and is still getting money. They deserve to know the truth and the facts. And if they did, a lot of it would be horrifying. And yes, I will say, there are circumstances of public corruption that are involved in this overall matter.
There's no wrongdoing there. This has been vetted at every level. It's been vetted by the Supreme Court.
Commission Chair Todd Hyatt, who voted for securitization, argues they took a year reviewing the process and the utilities' actions during the storm. In addition, he says without securitization, ratepayer bills could have soared an average of more than $1,000 per month for a year.
This is not a good deal, but it is the best deal we can possibly present for the public.
Moving on to the future, OG&E stands by its decisions before and during the storm.
Would you say there were mistakes made?
I don't think so. I think everybody was just caught by a price spike in natural gas that was both unthinkable and unprecedented. And now we're trying to figure out a way forward in the future so that we don't get caught again with such an unprecedented event.
OG&E has since changed their policy, locking in natural gas prices at the beginning of the month and have dramatically increased natural gas storage.
When you start talking about things that affect people's pocketbooks, let's be fair.
Still, those like Ellen continue to wonder what happens the next time.
The coldest stretch this winter, possibly headed for Oklahoma. Yeah, that's saying a lot, right?
Temperatures drop.
That is the battle zone, and look where it is, right across Oklahoma. Yeah, it does not look good.
Is this going to change, maybe? I'd love to see some good come out of this. I'm just not sure if that's where it's going to go.
Dana Hurtnicki, Oklahoma's Own News 9.